a long story. It's a very long story.
Recipes are easy, so you can work in the best restaurants in the world, and it's not necessarily more difficult. It's just better recipes. The hard bit is, after 90 hours, are you still doing it the same? Do you care about that last plate as much as you care about the first plate?
Like most kids from by ours, you were either all right at footy and you thought you could become a footy player, or you went onto the building game or something like that.
The life of a chef is a CV that's a year and a half of lots of places.
You have this perception of yourself of being a certain thing, but I think on reflection I was probably a bit of a pain in the arse.
I've been working all these out to me as I'm going to answer these. Like.
We didn't know what we was. We didn't want to become, we spoke to you about this as well.
Yeah.
Are we a boss restaurant that delivers food, or are we a boss takeaway? So I love places like, I'm not comparing us to Morall, by the way. We're well better. What are you messing?
The less options you give, the better you can be.
Without being a negative person, you've got to wake up every morning and know that shit is going to go wrong. It is. It's going to go wrong. We're the only food establishment, as far as we're aware, where you have to pay up front for your food. Nice. Then we realised we have to charge VAT.
Greek fella?
Yeah, it was definitely a Greek fella.
Kostas.
Based on Duke Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's him. Seriously, where's he gone?
He's outside.
Is he on the phone? Give him a shout there, so. Probably sorting someone else's problems out. Mike, hurry up!
We're rolling, by the way.
Are we?
Yeah.
Are we there? Oh, yeah, sorry.
Here he is.
Buying high and selling low again, was you there, lad? Yeah.
Buying
high. We're on there. We're rolling. What a way to start. You've changed since you knew we were rolling. As soon as you went, we're rolling, you went, no, I'm only messing. We've toyed with the... Go on, sorry. Go on.
Carry on.
No, we toyed with the idea of... Did we do one of these?
Too much?
In Thingios... We never did, we? The studio where Owen was. We never done this, did we? I feel like no, it wasn't.
It's previous
Stone,
life.
It's a stone moment. Yeah. Definitely don't put that in.
No.
It was gold. It was such gold.
Right, so let's get going. So I think what we'll do, structure it, as they said, we'll just ask people individual. And then before we move on to the life of 60, is that okay in the back, or is it picking up? Is it?
Can we not run taps, please,
Can we get rid
guys?
of all that shite as well? Is it alright to get rid of all that dirty
I
stuff?
don't think it's getting picked. Is that getting picked up?
Yeah, that camera there, isn't it?
Just the camera's there, so.
Yeah. Everything clean, nice and clean, out the way.
It's clean. But
No, but sorry, and out the way. Is right. You
Is
can
right.
pass around, but just
Like
don't
a
make noise.
photo bombers?
Just quietly.
And just can't be having that tap constantly going.
It's going to be a tough one.
What are you doing with the tap? Right. Can we...
All right, stay
You have to wash rice.
No, joke.
You have to wash rice.
Serving dirty rice tonight. Put it on.
Don't put that in.
He's just got one more batch to wash. and then-
Sad.
Apparently we're washing rice, but this is the last wash.
Yeah.
Starch.
See, even I knew that, and I'm not a chef.
If you want sticky rice, you don't wash it as much.
Is it true whole grain rice and pasta is really bad for you?
Depends
Well, it's bad with
which.
chocolate.
Yeah.
Is chocolate bad for you?
If you eat a lot of it,
Sugar's bad for you, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. Cocaine's bad for you. Let's name everything that's bad for you.
Getting hit by a bus. Well, like, we look at Asia, like, they're not all dying, so rice isn't.
They eat white rice though, don't they? Apparently, I heard this on a podcast.
Don't trust
really
anything
bad
you
for
hear
you.
on them.
Okay, that's where I get 99% of my information.
You're going to get loads of views with me being on this show. Quite a big deal in the city.
I'm a huge deal. People
Why
know
it's a
me.
big deal in your house. Just pull that there, and then you can just...
I'm going to skip the fact that he went out and bought a new top for this.
You can see how it was folded in the packet.
This is for John's.
Is
This
it?
is for Lost Souls, yeah.
It's right. It's nice stuff.
This is for work.
They look better
Gorgeous.
branded them. It's 60 on.
They do until they
Get washed.
washed. Yeah.
Takes a while to wash rice, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. A lot of it.
We got the cleanest rice in the city.
Squeaky clean rice.
She wants to be on the telly. So how do these? How's the format? How long is it on? Because I haven't watched one. I need to
And
watch.
it'll be
some
an
of them.
hour.
What's the best one to watch?
They're all great.
What's your best
I
one?
have got
though?
no bias towards any of our guests.
It's all we're rolling.
My mate Craig went to the other day. Scott Liverpool. He said that John Discovery one. He listened to that.
Yeah, John
That's
was
a
great.
He's a good one, Craig. Not a very good one.
No.
Why does Macha move away from the
I know,
microphone to
my-
start speaking?
To the sorry. I've been rolling.
You stay here and then start talking.
Waiting for the rice to get washed.
No, but this is the goal part.
Is he washing it one grain at a time?
Falling down the hole in the sink.
Like that?
Yeah, you have to wash it all 6 times.
We're going to have a blockage now of rice through the pipes. Five, that's let's go Chinese 5 spices.
No, that's generally how much it takes to get all the starch out.
Shite.
So yeah, rice, main courses, microwave, starters and chips oven. Generally,
They don't really lose quality at all.
Which?
Honestly, yeah, they were.
Chips?
Depends if you let it go freezing cold in the fridge and then you warm it back up. But I'm not one of them. Someone said to us once as well. They contacted us and went, "Food's amazing." I went, "They took a year to do the first order." I said, "Well, why'd you take a year to do your first order?" As Jessica, and he come back and said, "A lot of people were saying the food was really good, but you didn't get enough of it." I mean, you didn't get enough of it. Did you really not think that 2 box was enough for 2 people? Oh yeah, it was definitely enough for 2 people for one sitting. He said, "We usually have it the next day." I'm like, "I know, Jesus Christ, you can't please someone. Get a 4 box then."
Stop reading me questions.
Better to be prepared.
I'm not asking.
Where's Charlie? Oh, joke assassin there. That was my joke, that.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. See, he even fucking thinks that his jokes. When we were sitting in his garage, I said, "Oh, you little robber."
They're not that funny of a joke.
Well, why? Well, it's good enough for you to regurgitate it.
Come to my mind. Just speaking my mind. Off the cuff.
Speak your truth.
We're almost good to go.
Are you getting on there, Nate?
Jordan.
George.
Do you know all your stuff well?
Nate
like that?
George, his name is. That's right.
What are you having? Just trying to get going.
I know, yeah. Getting a bit. Brent mused.
I'm amused.
Here we go. That us, lad, yeah? Is right.
Days.
Now you're going to get Nathan in
And
the back.
action.
Now we've got squeaky clean rice.
Is right.
Can't see these again now. Guys, thanks for joining me.
Very
Little bit
welcome.
different this time round, as we're on site. John, I'm going to start off with you. Introduce yourself.
So I'm John Foster Green, and I am the executive head chef here at 60 Kitchen.
Nice.
And co-owner.
And co-owner.
Yeah.
If I'm good.
For now. Tell me, early life. What were you like growing up? What were you like as a child?
I was a good boy, mate. I was a bit of a swat. Was good in school. Done all right. Went to a good school. Yeah, I was pretty smart, but unremarkable, I'd say. That's
Are you laughing?
that's going to be the epitaph on my grave.
What did you want to be when you were younger?
First dream job was archaeologist.
All right, okay.
I sort of always liked history, you know, the Egyptians, the Romans, all that cool stuff. And then later on, wanted to be a writer, but wasn't very good at sitting still, looking at a screen for long periods of time. So I used to start off well, but get bored and drift off. So yeah, it wasn't ever going to be a life thing though.
So how old were you then when you decided becoming a chef was the route for you?
21 was when I started thinking about cooking as a career rather as just a potential stopgap. It was something that I was instantly quite good at, and that appealed to me. I get frustrated if I'm not good at something straight away, and I was naturally quite good at cooking. So 21 was when I thought there was a chance of having a career in it.
Mm. So obviously this is the best place you've worked.
Yeah.
But where else have you worked prior to coming here?
So first job was Northcote Manor, which is Michelin star place just outside Blackburn.
That was the first.
Yeah, so it was when I said it was 21 when I started thinking about it. I was in catering college in Liverpool, and it was all right, but it was fish goujons and velouté every week. There wasn't that much of a budget to be doing anything else. And for my 21st birthday, my mum sort of had been saving up a little bit of money, and it was, we could either go sort of Amsterdam for a weekend, Rill for a week, type of budget. But I'd just seen, I was watching Great British Menu on TV. The guy Nigel Howard had been on there doing really well. So I wanted to go to a Michelin star for my birthday dinner because I thought I might never have that chance to do it again. So I saw Nigel from Northcote, and so we went there for dinner, me and my mum. It was that good, like it just blew me away. I'd never been treated like that in a restaurant. I'd never felt like, on an equal step and with everyone else. So after the meal, I just said, can I go into the kitchen, talk to the chefs, to get some inspiration for going back to college. So I just asked them, how do you do this? I was like, I don't want to be doing, fish nuggets and the same cheese sauce every week. How do you do this? And they said they've got an apprenticeship. So I sort of packed in college and then moved out to Lango sort of 2 weeks later to start the apprenticeship.
Oh, fair play. So what did you learn while you were working there? It doesn't just get given to you. A lot of cooking. It's not about, I think recipes are easy and you can have the most complicated recipes in the world. It doesn't matter, they're easy to follow. Someone else has worked out what goes in it, how you do it. So you can work in the best restaurants in the world and it's not necessarily more difficult. It's just better recipes. The hard bit is after 90 hours, are you still doing it the same? Yeah. Do you care about that last plate as much as you care about the first plate? If it's a celebrity coming in, are you working harder than for someone who's saved up for a year? And that place taught me that was what was important, was about making sure that, if you aim for perfection, it doesn't matter who it is, when it is, it's just about constantly attaining that. And it doesn't matter whether it's a soup or the most expensive thing on the menu, it's about the same care, affection, thought process goes into it. So Northcote was what I thought might be something that sort of, as a great separator of money, not money, status, was actually a great equalizer because they didn't care who you were. If everyone gets perfection, it doesn't matter. So I think that was like the biggest takeaway from that, was cooking every dish like you were sending it to your own mum. Nice. So where did you go from Northcote?
So after sort of, being out in the sticks for a long time, just working, there was no life outside of that. The opportunity came to go sort of into Manchester. So I went to Australasia in Manchester. One of the chefs I'd worked for he'd moved across there. And so it was sort of going back to the bright lights of the city, city centre, cool. And after doing British fine dining for so long, the thought of doing, sort of high-end Asian food appealed, something more than just, courgettes and tomatoes, doing something that I hadn't seen before, ingredients I didn't know.
Yeah. How long were you there?
I was at Australasia for about a year and a half, 2 years. I think sort of the life of a chef is a CV that's a year and a half of lots of places. I think it's, you know, it's always good to progress in a place, but it's also you're trying to see as many different things, work under as many chefs as possible, sort of get as many arrows for your bow as possible, as quick as possible. I knew I didn't want to be a chef cooking on the line for 15, 20 years. I wanted to progress and progress quickly, so I went and worked for as many good people as I could, but in as short a time as possible as I could.
Nice. So where did you go after that one?
Is this officially or according to my CV?
Well, you've got the job, you know, so it doesn't matter.
There's one or two places missed off in between. So a bar and grill in Didsbury was sort of the next proper step for me. And that was, again, back to a bit more casual dining. Yeah. But that was my first management position that I took on. Again, it was, you know, this is the first job I'd taken where it wasn't working for someone who I knew. Again, hospitality can be like that of you work under people, and, you know, when I take a job, I'm phoning up people who I know I can trust already. So Chalk was the first one that gave me that sort of management responsibility. So yeah, out to Didsbury. And then I got to head chef there, my first head chef position. It was good, really enjoyed it. And then from there went to Tattoo, which is sort of the big one on my CV. But again, I then stepped down a couple of positions to go to Tattoo, and went as sort of one of the junior management team, because that was a big beast. It was a very different proposition in terms of the amount of staff working there. You know, I went from managing a team of 4 or 5 to managing a team of 20. But yeah, Tattoo was the big job at that time.
So how did this come about?
How did 60?
Yeah.
So I'd post that I was working for a pub company down in London, and it was just, it wasn't moving how I wanted it to, so I knew that I was going to start looking for something else. And although from sort of Liverpool, I'd never worked here. We'd got married the year before, and me and the wife knew we sort of wanted to come back to Merseyside, so we'd started looking for positions up here, and I saw the advert for 60 Kitchen, and I didn't know what it was, but it sounded like it had the potential to be something cool. So yeah, just sent my CV in, and then yeah, that's how that process started.
What was the interview like?
So yeah, I'd gone to my mother-in-law's and was promised there was a laptop that I'd be able to use for the interview. And obviously then 5 minutes into it, I still can't get it to work. The camera won't come on. Camera did eventually come on, but was on its side, horizontal. So yeah, I'd done the whole first interview on a 90-degree angle, trying to look like I was sitting up straight for the guys. But I sort of knew sometimes it's good to get that silly first impression out the way instead of it being, you know, it relaxed it straight away and sort of made me know that it was people that I wanted to work with, because they could put up with, you know, stupid stuff like that. Obviously, I'm super cool. So,
to be honest.
bird watching is the main thing I like to do. Bird photography.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
Actual birds.
yeah, like the flying type. Yeah, I think when I first moved to Manchester, I lived the sort of classic hospitality life of it was out every night, especially when I was at Tattoo, and I was, you know, people sort of knew that I was, you know, John from that position, and it was, I had a great time, but it wasn't a long-term way to live. So yeah, this is something that gets me outside, gets me in nature, and it's relaxing instead of just constantly being, you know, up, up, up. It was something that, so yeah, that music as well, go to a lot of live music, listen to a lot of music. But yeah, photography, I love photography. And yeah, music, they're the two main things.
What's your favourite food, would you say?
Um,
You better say 60.
Yeah, no, Asian food generally. So that's from Chinese, Southeast Asian, Japanese, but just good food. I know that sounds stupid, but any category that's done good, that's done, you know, it doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be, you know, a bit of thought, a bit of love, a bit of care. You know, any food. I think anywhere you eat where you can tell who the chef is, I love that. Yeah. I love seeing a place where someone's personality comes through what they're cooking. And it might be someone doing soup, but it's done with, you know, it's someone's nan in the kitchen just making the same soup they've made for 40 years. It can be, you know, the craziest fine dining where, you know, it's some mad scientist in the kitchen, which I just love, you know, seeing someone's personality coming through in the food. And that's what I genuinely love. Not just out the box, seeing someone else do it. Food that's then passed off at their own at an extortionate price. Just anything that's real. I just love, you know, seeing a chef's signature on a dish is what I love.
Nice.
Sounded proper wanky, that didn't it?
Yeah. Beans on toast.
Yeah, no, like
signature.
Yeah, I love beans on toast. Like, still to this day with the red cheese and butter on.
Lovely.
Yeah,
but food I haven't had to cook as well. Like, you know, I used to go when I first started cooking. I'd go round to my families and they'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to cook for John because, you know, he's working at this fancy place." And it was like, but that's not the food I was into. That's not the food I grew up loving, you know. And yeah, just not having to cook myself. That's what I love.
you never cook in your house though. You've told.
No, the wife's birthday. That's it. That's it. I don't get to pay someone to wash the dishes at home. So
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Paul.
Yes. Hello.
Hiya.
Hello.
Introduce yourself.
My name's Paul DeRose, and I'm one of the co-owners of 60 Kitchen.
So what were you like as a child? Jesus.
I was mad when you asked him that question. I was like, shit, how do I answer that? You have this perception of yourself of being a certain thing, but I think on reflection, I was probably a bit of a pain in the ass. It's all right in school. I didn't really like school though. You know, the way people say school was the best days of your life and all that. I couldn't wait to leave school. And when the kids ask about it now, I won't lie to them and say I do the best day. I went to a shitty school and called Dallasell in Crocky, and it was just couldn't wait to get out of there. So, like most kids from by ours, you were either all right at footy and you thought you could become a footy player, or, you know, we went onto the building game or something like that. And I thought I was going to be a footy player. Slipped through the net. Some say I was too good. Ahead of me time. No, when you realise you're not and you're sitting there at 16 and stuff like that, and you go, shit, what am I going to do? I don't really know what I'm going to do here. And you just do little stupid jobs and stuff like that. But yeah, probably hyperactive a little bit when I was younger as well. And you realise when you get a little bit older as well of what type of person you was when you were younger. And I probably wasn't someone who was going to go to university, but I'd love to have gone to university just for the laugh that people seem to have when they go to university. But I don't think I was ever going to do that. But yeah, pretty good kids. Never went round doing anything naughty or anything like that, smashing windows like other kids by ours did. Didn't really see the point in that. Used to go out with them now and again, and he'd do it, and I'd go, "You did."
Still doing it.
Oh, yeah, he's out tonight on Mizzy night. But yeah.
So what did you do prior to this?
It's a long story. It's a very long story. I've done lots of things. Yeah, crack on.
Cauliflower.
Eat them. Yeah, they're nice. They're very nice. This is the vegan menu. Or sorry, is this plant-based or vegan?
Vegan.
Sure, why not?
It's whatever you need it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Really nice. Loads of stuff. I've been involved in businesses since I was 17, 18. Property mainly. I went into having a tech business as well for a while. There's a very long story there besides that. And then always loved food. Just always loved it. I moved out when I was a lot younger, so I ate out a lot from when I was younger. Do you know what I mean? Whether it be a cafe or McDonald's or a nice restaurant. But I was always eating out, and I always used to look at things and go, oh, they could do that better, and that could taste better, and stuff like that. So I was always critical of it, always. But a bit of a, you know, a scaredy cat, really, because I'd never done it myself. And the idea of 60 came from me sitting in, coming home from holiday, and the first thing you do when you come home from holiday usually is get a Chinese, your favourite takeaway. Never been one for Indian food. Don't really know what I'm ordering. But I found myself in a queue of about 12 other people in a, you know, your typical Chinese restaurant. Hasn't had a lick of pain for about 20 years. And I was sitting there, I'm not going to say no names, and I was sitting in there waiting and seeing 20 other people waiting for food to take home, and they were all paying 40, 50, 60 quid for the food, and it's mediocre at best, 5, 6 out of 10. And the idea kind of came from there, going, well, why don't you have a little go of it? And I remember going back, and my wife's mum was in ours. I just had an idea there about doing like Chinese food, but like really well. And looking after the little tiny things that everyone notices, and I certainly notice as well. But kind of limiting it. What's that? Is that the oven? On that note, they always have to tell you about 100 times they finished. Our microwave does that. And then
Your mic closer.
And then and limiting it to 60 a day. Actually, it was 50 a day at first, wasn't it? Then we realised we had to charge VAT. So we realised and we went, okay, 60. Let's just imagine you called it 60. And the idea came from there. I phoned a couple of my mates, phoned Macher, and he was the one who phoned me back. And I said, yeah, I think there's something in that. You know, because I always like to throw things out to people and see what they think about it. Try and convince me that it doesn't work. And he came back straight away. And
it was the data behind it, what you'd done the research on.
There was like a study from KPMG called Food for Thought. And the study said that 76% of British people post-pandemic get a takeaway once a week. And 55% of them choose the most popular, which is Chinese food. And on that, I was like, there's no Chinese chains in the UK. There's not one Chinese. Is there a reason for that? There's obviously Domino's for pizza and loads of others, and Subway for sandwiches, KFC for chicken burgers, Nando's. You've got all them chains, but no one's done it in the most popular food, and we just wanted to figure out why. So we kicked the tires on it, didn't we? Done a bit of a business plan. And then we started the ball rolling with you know, let's do it. Let's go and have a little look into it. And then we wanted to interview people, didn't we? And done a weird interview with him. Proper weird interview.
We didn't know where to start with it, did we? Because we were like, we had the idea and we knew a little bit what we were going to do. So I phoned my mate. He owns a restaurant in the Build Petard, and he said, how do we go about getting a chef? And he just said, he went, speak to our chef, and he put us in, done an intro with his chef who actually lives in Formby, Gavin, and he come and helped us, consulted us at the early stages until we done the interview with John. Yeah. And on the side, as soon as John said he'd worked in Taddy in there a few months before that, I thought, yeah, he'd be perfect because the food is unbelievable in there.
Yeah, I know.
That's how we could.
And everyone was going, you should really interview more people, you know. Like, no, we like him.
But he come and cook for us.
We did go and see one guy in the Quarter in town, didn't we? And he was all right as well, because we were thinking to ourselves, look, we want to open more than one. There's going to be a bigger team. Sorry, John. You never knew that, did you, mate?
Fine.
But
he's dead now.
Yeah. He's dead now. So we done the interview with John. We met John. Jen, you come to ours then, didn't you? And cooked. Yeah. He cooked. We all came round to ours, didn't we? And had something to eat. And we were like, yeah, that's the guy. And then the business plan pretty much started from there. If you remember, at first when we came up with the concept, it was like we didn't know what we was. We didn't want to become. We spoke to you about this as well. Yeah. Are we a boss restaurant that delivers food, or are we a boss takeaway? You know, that will kind of challenge like Chippy, your normal Chippy people, but you know, slightly more expensive than that for obvious reasons. And we arrived at the latter, didn't we? We said, look, we want to be that kind of Friday night, Saturday night, any night of the week where you fancy a Chinese. You know, maybe it's once every fortnight. Some people come once a week. Some people come once every month or bi-monthly. You know what I mean? It's whatever it falls into.
So for anyone who's not had the menu before,
Yeah.
what makes you different to going to a normal Chinese takeaway?
Okay. The biggest thing I think is Chinese menus overwhelm you. They do. You open a Chinese restaurant, even though we could all cite one in our sleep, because I could tell you exactly what's on the menu, but there's that many things. You go, I don't know what to choose. So I love places like, I'm not comparing us to Morall, by the way. We're well better. What are you messing? I'm not comparing us to Morall. But they just go, trust us. We know how we work. We know if you like food, we'll know the balance of the food. We'll know the quantities of the food that'll get you satisfied and full. And do it that way. So we wanted to do that for the Chinese market, the Chinese takeaway market. But one thing we done initially, which you've just been talking about before, was we were only allowing it for 4 people. So it was like you get a box for 4, and he's like, we're cutting out a lot of people there. And you go, yeah, I know, but a box of this families, because I've got a family who would do this. You'd almost assume every other family is going to be the same. We'll all sit down, but you've got a young family. Your kids aren't going to eat hardly anything. Couple of chips and bits of rice and stuff. So then we introduced the 2s then as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
But how it's different is that it's prepared for you, as in obviously, but we've put the menu together. There's no choice. There isn't choice. And the menu changes every month, so it intrigues people. Because someone said to me recently, how many times you go to Nando's? And I went, I love Nando's, but I go about once every 3 months. Why do you only go in it once every 3 months? Because you get what you're given, kind of. Sorry, you know what you're getting every time you go. You don't miss it, but this is a bit intriguing because, like, I can't wait till next menu. You know what I mean? So
it's basically like a taster menu, but for the takeaway.
Yeah.
But we only do like the 60 a day because we worked out in the time slot what we can cook in and how many we can get out in that time slot, keeping the quality and the freshness of the food, and that's why we're called 60.
And the delivery drivers as well. We don't want to have 100 delivery drivers, and we did not want to go down the route of Uber Eats or Deliveroo where that end-to-end process is out of our hands. We can go, right, okay, brilliant process, brilliant. Yeah, here's to the driver who mightn't deliver it on time, might go and eat some of it on a bench. Do you know what I mean? So we're like, we don't want to do that. We don't mind paying that little bit more and having, a team of drivers.
That was another reason why we chose Formby as well, is that it weren't saturated with Just Eat and Uber Eats and that as well. Because the way people order food now, they want it simple, don't they? Everyone's on the phone and we've got our own app and that's how we want to be in control of the whole thing. We were saying from day one, we've said the food has to be consistently 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're never going to get your perfection with the fact that it's traveling and stuff like that. But the customer service has to be 10 out of 10 every single day of the week, no matter what happens.
That is what, for me, separates us most from, a lot of the takeaways is the 5 o'clock on a Monday and 7 o'clock on a Saturday, you'll get the same meal because of the limitations we brought in terms of how many we do. It's never like we're never overly busy. We don't have one night where we've got 5 chefs on and one night where we've got 1 on. We've limited it, so we've got the same people cooking, we've got the same amount of chefs, we've got the same amount of drivers, and it's just, them limitations give us a level of control that other businesses don't have because they have to make the money when it's available.
Would you say that a lot of that's come from previous places where you've worked to make sure the standards are so high?
Yeah, the less options you give, the better you can be. That it's just a fact of life, and obviously you don't want to get it to a point where it's limiting. You don't want to get it, and I think the early days, some of them, we were still all trying to establish what 60 was. So some of them early menus, we were like, what's the absolute best we can do? But were we always able to deliver that? And I think it took us maybe 6 months to go where I was developing dishes knowing what 60 was. Like now I can do a dish and go, yeah, that's a 60 dish. Or, we still have days when I'm creating dishes and there's something in my head that was boss. And then I've done it and I've gone, that's not what we are. That's, that's too much of a restaurant dish. Yeah. That's too much of a X, Y, Z, So I think it took us a bit of time to know what 60 was.
Certain foods didn't travel well.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
that was another thing. We've got to think about in it to travel a bit.
That's one thing,
because
because we taste, wouldn't we? John would create something for us and we go, oh my God, we're going to be millionaires. That food's amazing, you know what I mean? And then it'd go in a bag, then it'd sit in a van for 5, 10, 15 minutes on its delivery route. And it weren't the same food that was coming out the bag. And fundamentally, some foods just don't travel. So they come off the menu. It's like, we just don't do them no more. We just want everything to be 9 out of 10. We are unbelievably diligent with regards to the food, and if we do make a mistake, we obviously do, you know what I mean, we put it right straight away, and we want customers to come to us immediately and tell us there's an issue with this, and we'll fix it whatever way that might be. You know what I mean? John will go round and wash the dishes, he said.
It's been offered a couple of times.
Over to me.
Here we go.
Been working all this out in my head, yeah. Your hand out. Been working all these out in my head. Oh, I'm going to answer these later. Sitting there sweating.
I'm going to lie.
I'm not going to lie, no.
I'll just tell you, that's a lie.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
So, I'm Craig, one of the owners of 60 Kitchen as well. Also got a bar in the city centre called Side Door. Live music venue.
Stop plugging that.
Used to have Only Fools Bar as well, and then changed it to Side Door. So I've been in business for about 5 years, been basically in the bars, and then come into this now when Paul put this idea to me, and now we're rolling with it. Yeah. Any more that you need to know about me?
What were you?
So
You can almost
confrontational.
imagine what he was like as a child.
Yes,
You
you
would
can.
give
He's
us
still
an
like that now.
anecdote,
He
yeah.
hasn't changed.
Like that,
I
but
was a
smaller.
child, I was just I've always been a wind-up merchant and always wanted to don't take life too seriously, just always had a laugh. Probably hamstrung me in school because I never learned nothing. Just used to mess around, but that's why I have to work really hard now in trying stuff with businesses.
What did you want to do when you were younger?
Like any young kid, wanted to be a footballer.
I can imagine you've been a decent footballer.
I was all right. You know, there was obviously better players, there was worse players, but I was all right.
Never said that to me, did he?
Yeah, I was always played like
Imagine
the school teams and all that. I was always in them, and then as you get older, you like the party life a little bit and the nightlife and that stops you if you wanted to kick on. Maybe if you wanted to go semi-pro or whatever, but yeah, maybe I just weren't good enough for that, and just you've got to have the determination and all that if you wanted to do something really, and probably never had that because I was just sidetracked by winding people up or having a laugh. But yeah, I've always enjoyed football. Still playing now for the Over the Hill mob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a match tonight actually. Looking at this food, thinking I won't be a good pre-match that.
What was your first job?
First job, I was in out of all jobs when I was younger, like labour and work and stuff. Like anyone when you first come out of school, went to college, never worked out. That was just it was just school. You got a little bit of money for, and then yeah, just in and out of like bad jobs like labour and work and stuff, and then I got into the scaffolding, done the scaffolding cards and that, worked on the oil refinery, Stanlow, and then I ended up going offshore then on the oil rigs, working on the drilling, and I liked that. It was good. Used to fit in with my lifestyle. Used to 2 weeks away off, come home, 3 weeks at home, and it was boss. It was good job to have, and no kids in that at the time. And then I went out to South Korea. Was working there for the build of a rig. It was a good job, exciting job for me. And then I had an accident on my third trip out there. Got crushed by a container, broke my ribs, punctured my lung, got like a metal plate in my shoulder. So I couldn't do manual work anymore. So because of my shoulder, it was sore. It's hard to go back offshore, and it weren't gonna be for me. So I thought I need to think of something else that I want to do here. I remember sitting in the house with my dad, and I lived with my mum and dad, and I was like, my dad's a business advisor, and I was like, got an idea that I was watching Only Fools and Horses. Said Only Fools and Horses, bar at work, the fame, you'd have all the characters in there, and just ended up rolling with it. Done a business plan with my dad, my mate, my brother, and we just rolled with it, and it was all right. It was a good little bar, it was boss, and that's what led me into business then. And then now I've just ended up with, as I said, I'm still probably a little bit of a novice in business. We're having the bar, we opened that in November 2019, and then we were closed in March 2020 for COVID lockdown. So we couldn't have had a worse start into a new business. Like, what's going on? Is this business? Yeah. But then we rolled with it, and we rolled our sleeves up, and we had to go with it, and we made it a success. It was good, and I think the climate changed in that with like the cost of living crisis and that, so you're seeing it going up and down, and we thought we'd changed into another venue, side door. You know, the reason behind that is that people don't go out as much anymore, but they will if they've got, you know, an excuse to.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd put gigs on, events on, but that's even tough as well. So, but yeah, that's my background in business. As I said, I'm really new into it. I enjoy it. You know, you've had the good times and the bad times with it, and you just got to get through both of them.
More resilient though, doesn't it?
Definitely does, yeah. You know, 2-3 years ago, I'd be stressed and I'd be walking around stressed and that. You learn to deal with it a bit better as you're going on when stuff doesn't go right for you. You've got to be silly to go through life thinking that, you know, everything's going to be clean, and, you know, a lot of people say it, business was easy, everyone would be doing it. It is hard, and you've got to go through the rough times, but, you know, but that's got good times as well.
You come up with a very valid point yesterday on the phone when you said something changed for me once I started just dealing with something straight away.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I think Paul guided me on that one. Like, I used to dwell on things for ages. Me, of like something bigger. I'll just deal with that tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. And all that's doing is eating away at your inside. And then now I've just realised, just deal with it. If you've got an issue or a problem, like with anything, with business or anything that you need to sort, just sort it there and then, because otherwise it'll just eat away at you for ages and it's not going away. So that's what I've learned in business, and that's what's probably making me, as you said, a bit more resilient and stronger in business now.
I think that's why there's so much around like mental health and all that at the moment, and it's because people just bottle everything up, don't they?
Definitely.
I think it's because social media hasn't helped. Because if you look at it now, it's just everywhere you look, it's success. People are and people are too afraid to actually show a little bit of failure now, or you know, the fact that it is difficult.
Yeah. That's ego, innit? People's egos kicking there, and everyone wants to look like they're doing well and all that. No one's opening a letter on social media showing a debt that you're talking about a bill. You know what I mean? Everyone's posting when they're on holiday, which is good. My social media, I probably just use it, just post on my kids early. Do you know what I mean? And obviously stuff about the businesses. Yeah, chipping into the boot. Yeah, I've got a review on it. I think people will be wondering why I never made it at a football with that technique.
How many takes was that?
That was for one take. My little lad is only 4, but he'll vouch for me. He was a proud son that day.
So just talking about 60 then, so obviously you come up with the initial concept. What's been the most challenging time, would you say?
It's just, without being a negative person, you just got to wake up every morning and know that shit is going to go wrong. It is. It's going to go wrong. And if things go wrong, it go right a little bit during the day, it's a bonus. I think, because you're just saying there before about business. I've been in business for a while. I've made more cock-ups than I have successes. Massive ratio to the cock-ups to the successes. With 60, the biggest challenge is the fact that it's a new concept. Well, am I too close?
You're shouting at me for eating on the
I know. I was thinking that when he was talking about it.
I was doing that before.
To me and then say,
I know, yeah.
Don't get this on the overlap. You just sit there and eat.
But the fact that he's talking while he's eating is actually worse as well. I think I get shouted at for that. But the biggest challenge is the fact that it's a new concept. Any new concept is difficult to get people to go, I don't normally do it that way. I usually do it this way. So there's a learning curve there. You've always got that with anything. The first day, I always used to say this, the first day the iPhone came out, there weren't a queue of people with tents outside. Fast forward 5-6 years later, iPhone's the thing to be, and people camp outside for weeks to be the first to get their hands on them. I'm not saying people are going to camp outside here, like, but
new menu, everyone camping outside.
New menu day. But yeah, the biggest challenge was that kind of learning. And also us learning, because if we were to just have, we've said this, haven't we? Just have a kitchen here with a counter there, people come in and order it. We'd probably be financially better off as it currently stands. Do you know what I mean? We probably would, but there's a learning for it. There's a trust thing as well, as to say, you don't get a choice what to eat from 60 Kitchen. Trust us to do it. And that takes a while as well. So I'd say that's the biggest challenge, is getting people to buy into that.
And changing from the local things that they were going prior, maybe. As well, well, I always go there on a Friday.
Yeah,
some people are scared to try stuff,
and cost as well.
I think we got perceived as expensive at the start, but when you break it down, and like, 60 quid for a chippy, so it was getting perceived at the start, and it's not. It's £15 per head for a banquet. You go to most local chippies or anywhere, you're paying around that.
£12.50 plus VAT.
Yeah, and we get, but we've got like what we've done with 60, we've gone a bit more. We've got good chefs in with the likes of John and the other lads in the team. And you know, we buy all the food in daily. It's fresh. There's no wastage. That's where we think we stand apart. And you know, people say you could have done this in a dark kitchen and an industrial estate and still served it, but we wanted to be on the high street. We wanted to look the part in there. We want the kitchen to look extringy because we think it sets the standards for how the food gets out.
It's like a bright kitchen, isn't it? Because
It's
someone
a
said
bright
that
kitchen,
to us.
yeah. We wanted people to walk past and look in, see the chefs prepping and cooking, and we wanted us, like, you know, our standards are high in this kitchen, from like the cleanliness to the way we've done it up and to the outside, and that we stand out. And
It's like, I can genuinely say, hand on heart, that these are the lowest margins I've ever worked towards. You know, this perception of being a bit more expensive, it's like you obviously don't want to argue with people, but if you can find better value for £15, I've genuinely not seen it. And you know, you don't want to be too much of a, like, you know, confrontational on it, but like we're making a lot less margin than this would be in a restaurant, and the quality difference to a bog standard takeaway is another world. And obviously we're trying to, you know, mid-level restaurants sort of died a death a few years ago, like pre-COVID, when you lost like Jamie Oliver's and that, and we're trying to find a different route for that mid-level dining of, you know, you don't have to go out and spend 50 quid a head to not eat crap. You know, that middle market it's a tough space to find, of, you know, real ingredients cooked by real chefs, but still trying to keep it at less than 20 quid. Like, it's tough. And, you know, like we were saying about what we are, it's hard for the price comparison as well. You know, of this meal, if you're eating it out, it'd be 150 quid, and we're doing it for 60. You know, it's genuinely, it's a hard.
It's weird as well, because we've had 10,600 people download the app, 10,700, whatever it is now, and only 5,000 people have ordered from us. And you're like, oh, why haven't? Sorry, 6,000 is it now? 5,800 people. It's 5,000. Yeah, 5,800. Is it? That right?
we said about that yesterday around
Yeah,
that number.
right. That I have to look that up. And you're like, okay, why has 5,000 people not ordered from us yet? You've downloaded the app in the first year. It's like, what is it? You know, it's trying to unlock that as well. I found really exciting. You know what I mean? We've spoken about it at length, haven't we? We speak about it every day. It was like, okay, how can we get that? How can we get them on board? How can we convince them that, you know, to try us? Because I think when we first opened as well, I think we did let ourselves down a couple of times, where one night we had a fire in here. You know, the fryer went on fire on a Friday night, and John was eating mushrooms in Amsterdam with his wife on his anniversary, and it couldn't have went worse, could it?
It was the busiest night, and the fryer went broke.
The fryer broke down. We had another night on a Saturday where the fucking Lecky went off in Formby. Do you remember? Was you moved in then? It was a power cut in Formby. That was a nightmare. So there's loads of little things like that where you go.
There's things as well that we've got wrong as well. When we were talking about, you know, menu one was brilliant in the June. It was the crispy chili beef, and that was unbelievable, wasn't it? And then I think we know that between us we got it wrong in July. We had sweet and sour chicken, and the pork never travels well, did it? We've nailed that now, but it was start, and then some stuff never went together, so we had to really think about it when we're thinking about the menus of what food does, not only does it travel well, what goes together well as a package. And,
it's mad you say that, because our sweet and sour chicken is like a different, without being dingo to every, I'm not putting everyone on the same bracket as the, you know, the shit pieces of chicken, basically. But because our chicken's actual chicken with the proper batter around it and stuff like that, and it's in the sauce, it's great coming from the kitchen there to here, and you go, oh my God, that's the nicest thing I've ever tasted. But then put that in as I said before, in the box, then in the bag, then in another bag, then in the van, and it travels for 5, 10, 15 minutes. It just didn't work. So I think that was a big learning curve.
Yeah, sometimes you learn the hard way, but long as you don't make the same mistakes again, then
yeah, exactly.
That's the main thing, isn't it?
What would you say was the biggest mistake you've made when setting up, though, from concept?
Well, we know that 1,000% what that is, don't we?
Yeah, with the app, with the we're hamstrung on the app a little bit, which are updating our tech at the moment, aren't we? But just we think you speak about this because you've only been screaming on about it for months.
I don't shut up about it. I'm doing. You know, when you convince, every time you speak to someone, you keep saying it again. Oh my God, I'm saying this again. we're the only food establishment, as far as we're aware, where you have to pay up front for your food.
Right.
Right, even more all, keep going on about more all here, right? But even more all's only 50% up front, right?
Can we find a friendlier comparison?
Put the pressure on John.
Nando's. But we're trying to, ours is all ordered through the app, and we are trying to get people to not order when they're hungry, to order, right? I like Chinese's, and I'm going to get one on Friday, or I'm going to get one on Saturday or Sunday or Monday, and have the ability to book that without any money leaving your bank account. At this moment in time, people have to pay the full price up front if they're booking up to 3 months in advance. And some people do that still because they've got a special occasion coming or something like that. So we're like, why have we done that? Why have we actually, it's like I'm kicking myself and all kicking ourselves, but really it probably falls onto me, that mistake. Like I didn't, because I know quite well, if my wife phones me and goes, we're going out with blah blah on next a week on Saturday, the restaurant's saying that they want a £25 deposit here. What you got? Do they? You know what I mean? It comes into me head where I go.
Booking.com now as well, and it's like when you're booking a hotel, if you want to go somewhere, you sometimes go, they want to get paid up front. I want to get one that I pay when I get there for some reason. Because you never know when your plans are going to change, right? And not only that as well, you never think you're going to get the money back, because if you do book it and there is a good cancellation policy, which we've got, people are always a little bit, but will I get my money back? So it's like,
what is your cancellation policy if I was to book and I couldn't make it for this evening?
Yeah.
Tell me what you do.
So if you couldn't make it for this evening
or next week,
you just get your money back full pay, and it costs us money when we pay people the money back, right? Again, which is stupid. So what we're going to do now in the future, hopefully in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe give ourselves a buffer. We've redesigned the whole tech. So what will happen now is you book it for 3 months in advance, doesn't take a penny. It just recognises that there's a card associated with it. And then you've got till 12 midnight on the morning of your order. Never really know how to say that. 0001, whatever, right? On the day where you can cancel it before then.
I mean, obviously the food speaks for itself. I think the amount of reviews you've got, it's just about all these other people that have downloaded the app, getting them in to try it, really. What have you not from Formby?
You can pick it up. Yeah, but that's a convoluted way of doing that as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Try to be a bit clever with that, didn't you? Like it was like you found a little hitch in the app and you've hacking the app and you can get it to the bench outside. And sorry, posture. Obsessed with posture, this guy.
You're close to the mic. What is it?
So then with the order it to the bench, but it's a complicated in it a little bit.
It's complicated.
It should just be pick up and
but again, that's a change.
But you can if you're not from Formby. So anyone watching this, if you want,
we get loads of people. People from North Wales and that, don't we? And St Helens and Manchester and
people travel for a lot from obviously Liverpool up to Southport, St Helens, everywhere.
Through Instagram, that isn't it? I think Instagram is such an amazing tool. Social media, without a shadow of a doubt, getting your brand out there. Years ago, obviously, what did they do? You put a little tiny £25 advert in the Echo and just hope that people read the Echo. You know what I mean? Now it's just, and if you can be quite creative with your marketing.
So talk to me about that, because that's one of the questions I was going to ask the social. So it's quite interesting, isn't it? It's not your traditional, here's a picture of a plate type of stuff. So who's the brains behind the social, or is it a bit of a joint effort?
We have meetings, don't we, weekly, and we come up with ideas and just roll them out, and Luke's and puts them into place, you know what I mean? And makes it happen.
Luke's our head of marketing and design. He's brilliant. He designs everything, and some of the ideas it is. The Taylor Swift one was really good last week.
Yeah, people phoning us saying, add a Taylor Swift, get it through, get it 60. How did you sort that? And I just was like, John worked in tattoo and he knew a bodyguard, and she said that he can't sort and Taylor out before she plays it on field. But Taylor Swift never had one.
Someone put on Instagram, that's clearly Photoshop. As if like we were trying to pretend she'd been you know what I mean? Like, oh my God. Someone else said as well when we had the Robert De Niro one, we put Robert De Niro eating one, you know, that Uber Eats one he does, and we blagged that we'd spent all our marketing budget on getting Robert De Niro, and someone said, you really got Robert De Niro to eat a 60? I'm like, oh my God. They took the word gullible out the dictionary as well.
I think that's where you have to be so much more than just a brand, though. And I think that's, you know, we are just a group of lads or fellas, whatever, sat around the table, you know, trying to get people to eat our food. But if you just stick pictures of the food, it doesn't go anywhere. We, you know, we spend so much time and money on like these amazing photo shoots of the food, and you get zero engagement. At this point, people know generally what we are. They know they do nice Chinese food. So there's only so many photos of nice Chinese food that we can put up. You know what I mean? They can't taste it through the adverts, which doesn't really translate. It's like why perfume adverts are always so weird, because they're selling something that they can't just show you.
This smells
You know
lovely.
what I mean? Like, so you'll have, perfume adverts are always the maddest adverts, because they can't just go, oh, notes of sandalwood. It doesn't work. So, we know from the engagement we get, it's sometimes the weird stuff that generally pulls thought up, and we've all been like, oh, that's awful. and do really well.
Some of them don't make it up.
and then some that we delete the next day because it got one like in 8 hours. But it's hard. We spend, probably over a third of our time talking about how we get 60 Kitchen out there. It's, a lot of the other stuff is easy in terms of, if the rice isn't quite right, we can go away and work on it. The salt and pepper chicken next month, we didn't love the last one, so we went away, worked on it, and it's better now.
It's brilliant now. It is.
But the marketing, it doesn't always work like that, does it? You can go away and do the greatest piece of art you've ever created, and no one cares. And then a little throwaway joke can be the thing that gets like people, all over you. Yeah,
it's funny really, because a lot of clients that we speak to, they'll chase revenue, and we always say no. Increase your brand, and the revenue will come.
100%.
You're doing that already. You're already just thinking, no, let's focus on the brand and getting it out, and everything else will fall into place. Where I think most businesses, they're just like sale. How can we get this out quick and get us?
I think when you kind of want to be mates with a brand, I think that's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I like 60 Kitchen. I like the sort of.
Someone said to me, Instagram was like Paddy Powers. Just don't take ourselves too serious. Let's when John's cooking the food, but on the social media, it's like we're just in there having a laugh as well. And when we're having our meetings, having a laugh about what we're going to put on 60 and trying to enjoy being a part of 60 as well.
Some of your videos are really good. Your personality really comes.
The sarcastic chef. That's what we said.
But it was like that, and we'd done a video that we thought was a really good video. And I was sat trying to do a voiceover for it, being really earnest and important, and look at me, I'm a good chef. How amazing's this? And it was a load of shit. You know what I mean? It was unlistenable. Like, who wants to hear someone going, "Look at how clever I am"?
Yeah.
No one cares. People expect me to be able to have cooked a good meal. That's why I'm here. Yeah. So it's about that other side of, like I said about. I like eating places where the personality of the chef comes through. I like spending money at places where the personality of the owners come through. I want to, it's just, because again, it should be good. We shouldn't be selling it if it's not.
Having one of these doesn't work though. It's not a feasible business really. It's something that we need scale, and we need to try and get the name out there and get the food talked about, get the brand talked about when we move into shop 2, 3, 4, 5, and hopefully get up to that magic number of whatever that might be.
What are the plans for the business moving forward?
So we want to try and open 20 of them,
right,
in 3 to 5 years. We wanted to do it organically. We want to potentially take an investment on. We've still got a few things to get right with regards to the tech. The food's great. The food is really good. So as many as we can. The next shop's going to be in Maghull. Yeah, okay. Going to open the next one in Maghull. Then probably another 2. Probably one down the south end of Liverpool, Allerton Roadways. We're undecided on the 4th one. And then it will be to Cheshire, Manchester ways as well. And then probably somewhere more down south, Essex ways or something like that. Nothing set in stone, obviously. But that's the plan. The plan is to have these where it's like, if I have one of these in Formby or I have one of these in Chelmsford, they taste exactly the same. They taste exactly the same.
Do you think it'd travel abroad?
Well, funnily enough,
probably be cold.
We're in the process of doing a deal with someone who's going to bring 5 of these over to Dubai. straight away. Probably going to be starting the fit out in September for the first one. So yeah, that's quite exciting because I think it'll do really, really well somewhere like Dubai, where money just passes through people's hands like water over there. So I don't think there'll be sometimes the reservations that can happen with regards to the cost of living crisis, because everyone you speak to at the minute's skint. But people still love a treat. And John come up with a brilliant strap line as well, which we've always been chasing a strap line, haven't we? And he come back, I'm sure he Googled it or ChatGPT'd it, but he said for cheat day, or just need something to eat day. And that's what 60 is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because if you are going to cheat, you know, there's no preservatives or anything in our food. Nothing. We don't add anything like that to it. We're not trying to make the chicken last longer. Is it chlorinated chicken, is it called? We don't do anything like that. We were getting the potatoes all peeled and sent to us, and they just didn't taste right. So we have someone peeling the potatoes all day. We could have saved a fortune by doing it that way. So we don't, everything that we do, it doesn't make you feel rough after eating it, which sometimes certain fast food places can make you do that as well. Don't know why I went down that road there. What did you ask me? Probably rambling on.
Where are you going next?
Yeah, sorry.
Started rabbiting on about
Dubai. Yeah.
The chips are good, aren't they?
Chips are boss.
Where did your inspiration come from?
Oh, I've told you this, haven't I? Chips are the chips
playing out like you invented chips.
Yeah. It's a mad story behind that. The chips and the rice are going to be constant on every menu up to now, anyway. And I said they've got to be a reason in themselves for people to come back here, and they're seeing what the others are like, but they're coming back for these two. And I went to a restaurant in London with a mate of mine, Jay, and we were in. Someone was paying for dinner, right? And it was a nice restaurant, so there was all sorts getting orders. And he ordered chips and a burger, and he went, "Mate, taste one of these chips. The best chips I've ever tasted." And I tasted one. I went, "Wow, these are lovely. These." Come back here, told Lise about the chips. You were trying to figure out what it was, wasn't it? And I contacted. They were called what's it called?
Don't give it away.
Salty Girl. Mad name for a firm, but Salty Girl in Mayfair. And I contacted them, and they come back to me, to be fair to them. They told us how they done them. And it's like, oh, this isn't the reason for the whole chip, but just the seasoning on them and stuff like that. And they powder their vinegar, so the chips don't go wet in the box, right? So we use powdered vinegar, don't we? And obviously salt as well. But the chips and the science behind the chips being like that, John knows about that because we learned on that one, didn't we, as well?
Yeah. And again, it was, you know, the lessons learned, sort of, which is possibly the most common phrase used around 60 Kitchen. We nailed the chips, we were really happy with them, and then they just started to dip in quality, and it was, you know, the potato season changing, you know, water levels in the ground, changing the sugar levels, all really boring stuff, but something that when you're using real food, you have to now have in place, right? We're going to be using this potato for these 3 months, then we know at some point around here we're going to be changing onto this, and you know, all the changes you have to make to stay consistent. And yeah, so like I think the chips have been one of the sort of a signifier of what 60 Kitchen's been, of like, we started off doing the best chips in the world 60% of the time, and now we do some of the best chips you've ever had 100% of the time.
That's another thing that we brought in though, weren't it, with 60, the consistency. We the taste test and that, because we were like, I don't know, we were a little bit up and down with the consistency at some stages at early doors, and then
it could taste different on a Tuesday than what it did on a Friday.
So John's implemented a taste test, how every day before shift all the food gets cooked and tasted before it gets sent out, so everything's the same.
That's just so you can have your tea.
That's it. I'm always walking past on the taste test. Right, lads, get some rib there.
He said something to me, because I don't know the science behind food. He said about tomatoes on a Monday, even if they're from the same vine or whatever, are different to the ones that you buy on a Friday, even though they're from the same vine. Like, well, how does that work? And he went, well, because there's a different acidity in the soil or whatever it might be. So sources could be different on a Monday and a Tuesday, a Monday and a Friday.
That's the thing. I think that's where the sort of, you know, my experience sort of pays off a bit of, if everything's fine, then it's fine. But it's the ability to, when something's that little bit off, And that's my job in teaching the team now that we've got is, you know, them guys can follow a recipe all day long and make a beautiful thing, but it's about passing on the knowledge of, you know, what you do when it's a little bit too acidic and knowing what them pointers are for the quality difference and what the solutions are, you know, and it's easy to do anything when it's going right. It's all been about learning what to do when them things go wrong, what you do when your fryer's on fire, you know what I mean? And it's from the customer service point of view as well, of knowing how we go about rectifying any mistakes that have managed to go through. You know, it's 13, 14 months worth of learning now, isn't it, that have been applied to the business, from knowing the Instagram post to knowing what to do with the potatoes. It's the whole, you know,
And how we deal with reviews as well. That's funny.
Don't get too upset.
Yeah.
What's the worst review you've had?
We got one on about 3 weeks after opening, and it was on Google, and I'm just a weirdo with stuff like that. I've got all the alerts and stuff, so if anyone does it, I just want to know, because we do fuck up sometimes. We do. And you can tell when it's a legit issue and when it's been made up.
Yeah.
And one comes to mind, Amy B. that she ordered one, and she ordered, because we know when they get delivered, you see, because the slots, you get them to, and we know who's ordered them as well, so don't leave bad reviews, because we'll come and find you. No, but she ordered one at 5:30 or whatever, and within 12 to 13 minutes of her receiving it, not eating it, she'd left a review on Google to say that it was all freezer food. It was a waste of money. They're crying talking about this. It was a waste of money, and something else she said as well. Anyway, we just went back straight away and said, I don't know how you've never left a review for any organisation in your life, but you've only received your food 12 to 13 minutes ago. She probably wasn't expecting me to come back that quickly. And yeah, obviously they never came back again, you know what I mean? But
unpacked it all. Plated it all up.
Yeah.
Etty, set up a tip.
Hang on, before you have a bite of that, get me laptop out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So there was that. There's a couple of others where we genuinely did. What annoys me sometimes with the reviews? Listen, if someone gets in touch with us and go, look, that weren't the best. That, you know, there was a bit too salty, or it wasn't enough flavour on it, because we do drop the ball. Of course, we do with a normal business.
They're the ones that hurt the most, though, aren't they? That's when your mum doesn't shout at you.
Yeah, she's just disappointed.
I really wanted to like.
I know. But it's like it's like we do make mistakes, but tell us about it. Tell us about the mistake. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we'll rectify it, as opposed to going on and going, it's not for me, because, you know, one person complained that war rations, because we give 4 ribs. You only get 4 ribs, as if you bought 4 ribs for 60 quid.
They wanted to weigh all the rib meat and compare them to older people.
So I'm a psychopath.
They wanted to weigh all the rib meat.
We did do it.
Yeah, they done it, and then get them from like other places, and then just like say, well, you can pay for more bones if you want.
Yeah,
I was like, no, just concentrate out that we know our ribs are good.
Well, we took all the meat off our ribs and took all the meat off several competitors and weighed them, and ours had double the meat with half of the bones.
That does as well be like one person's thing. A lot of people speak about how good our ribs are. That's a big thing for us. The ribs in there are heavy, just fall off the bone. Yeah. You know what I mean? So one person saying that, I just think you just...
I know.
Got to acknowledge it, like, but when you know it's not, it's
again, that's
good.
Such a big advantage for us over other takeaways, is we know who our customers are. So, you know, we've been able to proactively, when we have dropped the ball, or when, you know, we know who it's not like they leave and then we never see them again. You know, we can actually...
I read the book on it. When I came into it, I was on the headphones listening to it, and a guy called Rory Sutherland, you know him, from Ogilvy. He's fascinating him. He said, when a customer has a bad experience with you, he said, it's better than them having a brilliant experience every single time, based on how you deal with it. Yeah. If you deal with that problem as if, look, that was on us, we dropped the ball, you know, next time, blah, 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 blah. They have more of a kind of loyalty and relationship with you, because when you did cock up, you put it right. And we've seen that a million times over, maybe not a million.
It gives us a genuine chance to...
When you're saying some of our best customers have been a bad review, that we've dealt with it, and then they've been like good customers.
One of them best.
I'd still rather not have them, like, but it's our ability to turn them.
What's been your favourite dish?
My favourite dish? I always used to order crispy chili beef, always order it, and we put it on menu one. It was like a fillet chili beef in it. It was unbelievable. That was on June last year when we first opened. That's the one that stands out for me.
It's good to know it's been 12 months of decline since then.
That's something that I always ordered anyway. That's my favourite too. That's my go-to
I did
dish.
actually mean 60 dish. No, none of this crap.
But
Yeah, it wasn't from here.
no, but that is my favourite one. And John made it on the June one. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's the one that
You
stands
might need
out.
to put that back on, John.
I know. We've done 2 crispy
That
beefs
weren't my
since then.
that weren't my favourite.
What's yours?
That weren't my favourite starter. And I'm not just saying it because we like the iPhone. This is the best iPhone we've ever. This is next month's menu is the best month menu. Although June, I think's been amazing.
The duck pancakes were the
Duck
best.
pancakes were lovely. I love the crispy wontons as well. The crispy chicken wontons is it? Chicken and chili wontons. But my best meal, char siu one this month to take some beating, and also the chicken as well. I think as well. So, but I
Just rattled off every single dish.
I know, yeah.
Well, that's it. That's what we're doing.
I am like that.
Pumping our dishes out there.
I am. There's some that haven't hit the mark. There's some that have been a little bit, balance wise, didn't really work early on. Definitely that has probably never come on the menu again. Or
Yeah, it's like char siu this month was a redemption dish from July the previous year. It took 11 months for me to even consider doing char siu again after, just not getting it right the first time. But yeah,
we're doing supplement though as well, aren't we, with specials?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm generally sick of whatever dish is on the menu because I've been working on it for 2 months by the time it goes on. So yeah.
Being a chef, what one place would you like to open a 60 anywhere in the world? And step back and think, you know what? I'm proud of that.
Question.
I don't know, somewhere where we were amongst other sort of cool startup brands. Like I think, if somewhere like Amsterdam Nord, like north of the river in Amsterdam, where you've just got quite a few collectives of cool startup brands who aren't just going, oh, they're doing smash burgers, we should do smash burgers because smash burgers make money. I think, sort of, or in like Cruise in Berlin, somewhere like that, where originals are, not just someone who's seen someone do something and goes, we should do that because that's making money. Someone who goes, how about we do this because this could make money. I like sort of that, the creator side of it rather than can we just jump on someone else's shirt tail. So like somewhere cool, Amsterdam, Berlin, that type of.
I'll go to Amsterdam to open that one.
Yeah.
Stay there.
One sheet off your head.
Right, well, look, that's all the questions I had. I thought we'll finish on something light-hearted. Okay. Stop looking at me questions.
Ask them first.
Can we have those little lollipops,
surprise,
please?
Yeah. I know what you're doing here.
Mr. and Mr. and Mr.
To be honest, right. To be honest, right. It's like these.
We know where the budget went now, don't
Is
we?
it?
It's like these 2v me, so I'm just gonna get all the bad ones here.
What you do?
You have to name. Like,
So,
he's gonna ask a question.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm going to ask you a question and then you put your answer to the camera.
Okay.
Try not to show the back because it is a bit of a DIY job from some.
Okay.
Yeah. So, first one. They actually were. Right, first question. Who spends the most time on the phone? What have you got?
Me, guilty. At least I own
Do
it.
you look how many hours you're on your
No,
phone
I'm
for?
scared too.
Yeah, I look at
Got a habit, takes a personality.
Whose timekeeping's the worst?
Is that-
Really?
Yeah, do you reckon?
I was
No,
late.
I'm only going by that I come to meetings late all the time.
I was late for one meeting last week and it's still eating me up inside. So
Never turned up to one as well.
yeah, I don't know. I literally blame the dog.
Yeah. So I'll get it.
Who has the best sense of style?
Style. Stylish. Lost Souls, big shout out to John.
Getting your free gear.
Hey, well, you're doing all right, are you?
No. I've got walking boots on, so it's definitely not.
And it's summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Still shops in Baby Gap.
Oh, we're getting personal now.
I had to get one small joke in. Big in your stool. Like.
Who's got the best taste in music?
I'd probably say
to see Kings of Leon on Sunday. I think.
You, John?
I've heard some of the
No, when you walk in
shite
here,
that they have on in here.
listen to like heavy metal, pure
Yeah.
heavy metal all the time. It's
Yeah.
I think if you spend £100 to go and see Coldplay,
Do you know what?
that
I'm going
riddles
to give
you out.
myself that. I'm going to give myself that.
Really?
Yeah, I am actually going to give myself. I listen from anything from Frank Sinatra to the Gypsy Kings or to Drake. Actually, I can't stand that Drake no more. But so me, Craig's a bit one-dimensional.
I am actually. Yeah.
Who's got the worst habit?
Trying not to put
Keep it
me
clean.
in.
Keep it clean, son.
OCD.
I'd-
Is that a habit?
Probably
OCD.
where.
He
Oh,
picks
that-
up on like
that-
little bits of crumbs in the corner.
Yeah, I get a bit annoyed about like stuff like that.
That's a humble brag, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's like I'm a
Oh
perfectionist.
no!
Yeah,
God.
perfectionist, yeah. I'm just trying to get it out there.
When people say that in interviews, oh my god.
This will be fun. Who's the funniest?
It's definitely me, like. It's just not even like John's trying, and he is funny, John.
Yeah.
I'd actually say it's between John and Craig, that one. 'Cause
Yeah.
John's intellectually funny, right?
And Craig's
I'm
funny
not
to
even
look
trying
at.
to be funny yet. Waiting to try and be funny.
And Craig's like,
Slapstick funny.
yeah, a little bit
Could
like,
ruin your life with a practical joke.
yeah,
Funny.
yeah. He takes his time on his joke smacker as well. So actually, some of your jokes are, yeah.
But yeah, I've got a bad ego, me saying I'm the funny. You're all laughing. No one's laughing.
Boss ego.
Who's had the most 60s?
Paul. It's definitely Paul.
I don't know, you know.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, maybe.
I think we
So-
need to check the data.
Solely for like, you know,
Taste
research
purposes only.
purposes, you know what I mean? And
Don't make
quality
it
control.
Show.
Well, they take
Who
that. Small and
talks the
fat.
most?
Talks the most. I don't know, you know, we can talk him like.
It's probably me.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'm not on my phone like that.
Yeah.
Who gets annoyed the quickest?
I don't know, you know,
John does get annoyed. John does get annoyed.
You don't know if he's
John's
messing or
hovering over
serious.
himself.
I'd
You going for you,
He's a
mate?
chef, and he watched Gordon Ramsay. And
Yeah,
all that.
actually, if I've got any sort of criticism for John, there's a way you have to present it to him.
Right.
Otherwise, you can just see he's going, I'm going to make a fucking voodoo doll of you and stab it to death when I get back. That's the impression.
Because he's
I get from
sarcastic, you don't know if he's messing or serious when he's
Yeah.
And I
when
think-
he's serious.
Did you realise you were having your appraisal now, mate?
I know, yeah. It's just a big hoax.
that co-owner was not on you.
Yeah, no, I think, you know, it is, I take it personally, and, you know, this is all stuff that sort of come out of my brain in terms of the food and stuff, so, you know, sometimes it is, when you get some feedback, it's about, okay, I'm upset now, I'll give you my answer when I've gone and
And had a little
had
cry in
a
the
little
corner.
breathe.
He's got two personalities as well. He's John outside the kitchen, and when he's Chef's John, that's when you see him getting annoyed and that.
Yeah,
We've seen him on
John-
nights out. He goes into Chef John.
Yeah, he's in Chef John. Remember on the staff night out?
Right,
and
guys,
he's
we're going
all
to do this. We're going to have that. You're going to have this drink. You're going to have that. He goes into the
Chef
Sergeant
John,
Major
yeah.
role.
yeah, I think when you've got, you know, a load of people in hospitality, if you just let them roam free, it's an absolute
You're going to end up with
nightmare.
no chefs in the
The-
break the next day.
There needs to be some form of structure.
Mm.
Because you get to come in and be the nice bosses of, oh, we're just coming and having a nice time with you guys. But
You're gonna deal
I'm
with
the
them
one who
next
have
day.
has to deal with them all the next day. So, yeah, I'm happy to be the bad cop in that regard.
So who moans the most?
Yeah, definitely.
It's more of a constructive life. This is.
Are you moaning about the answer then?
yeah.
Who's got the worst memory?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm up there with that lately, though. You know, I am up. My memory's going
You know
really
what?
bad.
I've got a good memory. I can remember stuff from years ago and that.
You can remember stuff you want to remember.
Yeah. So I'd probably say, oh, you know,
Just
Paul. Yeah.
Right, lads. I'll take it.
Let's go for a night out. Who picks up the bill?
60. We've been on 60 nights out.
Sad doors.
I know, yeah.
No one. It's a democracy.
Is it?
Yeah, of course. It depends if it's a works night out. 60 picks up the bill.
Okay.
Oh, business count.
Just in case the accountant's listening.
Oh yeah, HMRC there.
And the last one. Who's the longest in the shower?
Taught me. I'm funny. I'm long in the shower. I'm stylish. I'm a full package.
He's only the longest in the shower when he gets a bit of blood in it first off.
They're my spots.
They're my spots are a killer, mate.
We've not showered together for ages.
Boys, it's been a pleasure.
Is right.
I want to eat some food, and I got shouted at before, so
Go
I'm
for
going to
it.
end it there.
Is right.
Thanks
Yep.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got sweaty hands.
Cheers, mate.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Actually enjoyed that. We should go on the podcast game.
No, I was roasted.
Do you know what? Open that door. Oh my god. I really enjoyed that.